right, what's up, y'all? Welcome into the DFS Edge. I'm your host, Dr. DFS, joined by my dear friend and multi-time tournament winner, old Hardy. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Dude, not too much. I'm freaking excited. Feels like this day took forever to get here, but here we are. The showdowns are just Thursday night football, Friday night football. They're just too much of a tease for me, man. Can't really build go through the whole process of building good lineups. You only got 6 roster spots, and no matter what you do, it's always wrong. So I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, it's just grinding out some college football all day, so I'm ready to get some NFL action going. Love building lines.
You still have money left?
yeah, I always got some money left.
All right, cool. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, dude. So I know we were talking a little bit, off air. This is just some quick hits, man. Quick thoughts about the slate. It's week 1, so obviously we don't have the pricing's pretty soft. So it seems. I was looking on FanDuel, DK. I mean, you can play whoever you want, really. I mean, there's cash games are going to be easy to build for. You can start really whoever you want to and build nice, good game stacks with it. So it is hard to find an edge this week because so many bases are covered. Ownership seems pretty well spread out. But I think it's one of those weeks where, you and I talked about lineup structure, who to use in your flex. It's going to be different, FanDuel, DK, but this is a week on DraftKings, I think, that we might actually even be able to use a running back in the flex a little more. Never tight end, but possibly running back. I don't know, just some of my early thoughts when I looked at it. What do you think?
I agree. I think I actually have my settings set to 70% running back in the flex for tomorrow.
Oh, on DraftKings?
Yeah, for DraftKings.
Yeah.
And it's usually the opposite for me. But a lot of the data coming out from last year was running back in the flex was more optimal than wide receiver. But then again, that's game by game decision, slate by slate decision.
Yeah, there's going to be, exactly. That's a slate by slate kind of thing. It just feels like there's so much. It could go 2 ways, really. There's so much value at wide receiver this week that I think you can spend up on running back and probably get build some really good running back in the flex lineups. But with that said, and there's so many good plays at wide receiver, you can also justify playing wide receiver flex too. So I don't know. I'll probably end up about 50-50 running back, wide receiver, in the flex. So on FanDuel, for the listeners, on FanDuel, I'm almost exclusively 100% running back in the flex. Touchdown equity is just so much more important over there. So
yeah, this new FanDuel pricing though has kind of messed with me a little bit. I noticed it on Showdown. They pretty much pricing guys just like DraftKings. I haven't dug in too much for their main slate, but it's looking kind of the same on FanDuel. The pricing is a little bit different than last year for us.
So far, I noticed a lot of the wide receivers are there's not too much discrepancy between the FanDuel. Usually last year, especially with your top tier wide receivers, you might see like a guy on FanDuel is about 1,000 more than a guy on DK. So the wide receivers look pretty tight. I mean, I was looking at a few, there's a $400 or $500 discrepancies, but I think it's just week 1. It's just tight.
Yeah.
I mean, soft pricing over there on FanDuel. It's very soft on FanDuel. I think you can pretty much play anybody you want on FanDuel this weekend. So,
but sometimes that's the problem on FanDuel. You can play anybody you want, so you end up playing the wrong guy.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I hate cash on FanDuel because of that. But you're pretty good on FanDuel with cash, so.
Well, I'm gonna maybe move off of that a little bit this year, especially early in the season. Here's where it's tough, and we're gonna get into it a little bit, but we'll just say this real quick. Early in the season, and you mentioned it too. There's a lot of the year-long fantasy bros We've been steaming guys up all off season, and I've seen ownership on guys like Trevor Lawrence and uh, um, well, Trevor Lawrence is a perfect example. For some reason, the narrative among the fantasy bros is he's about to have a year, and I think he's one of the highest owned quarterbacks on DK and FanDuel right now. So um, it's hard week one because you get a lot of bad beats week one. There's no reason Trevor Lawrence should beat you in a cash game, but it's going to happen this week, especially on FanDuel. So I may stay away.
I gotcha.
All right, so we got let's see here. I'm pulling these game tiles up. Yeah, perfect. So just looking at this, man, there's a lot of there's not really any super high totals. You got the Bengals and Browns here. You got the this is a game that I was kind of overlooking, and I don't know. It's gone up to it was at 46. This Lions and Packers game, and then and the Dolphins and Colts. Those are prop, and then of course everyone's going to be playing a lot of pieces from this Giants Commanders game. So we got a few obvious spots here. This Buccaneers Falcons game seems like it could be a shootout. Dolphins Colts feels like it could be a shootout too. Hell, Bengals Browns feels like it could be a shootout, and then you got this Green Bay Detroit game down here that feels like it could be a shootout. So we've got some spots we can look at for offense. We've got some spots that I wish we could just X right off of the slate completely. But yeah, man, unless you have anything to add, I say we just dive right in, go game by game.
In.
All right, cool. So first up, let's talk here. We've got the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Gillette to take on the Patriots. Patriots are narrow favorites, 44-point total here. Patriots have 23.25 implied team total. What do you think about this one, Steve?
I'm a little torn on this one a little bit. My first instinct is to quarterbacks in this. The quarterback in this game, Drake May. He's checking a lot of the boxes that we usually like. I like a lot of small other pieces, like on the Raiders side. I like a couple pieces on the Patriots side. I'm not going to game stack this one personally. I might do some Drake May stacks because I do like the run backs. You got run backs with what's his name, Ashton Gently. You got some run backs here, Myers, which would be great for run backs tomorrow. And I like Brock Bowers, but I don't think I'm going to go overweight on this game too much.
Yeah, I feel you. It's a low total. I just know these, like Pete Carroll is gonna, both coaches. This is kind of gonna be a slow paced game, I think. I'm with you. I think Drake May's in play. The index kind of likes him this week. He's not getting a lot of ownership. I guess no quarterbacks really are. Yeah, I think if you want it, the one sneaky play here, Drake May, Demario Douglas, maybe run that back with Gianti. Yeah, I just there's not a whole lot here for me either. I agree. I don't even really think either one of these defenses is in play either. I just feel like this could end up being one of those exactly how Vegas predicts it, like a 24-20 type of game, and there's just not much happening. Drake May's got a rushing floor. We need to consider that. He'll be in my player pool, I think. He's close anyway. I think you have him in yours, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Looking at the stack, I'm going to lean more heavily onto double stacks this year. It's just the data shows that. And this is the reason I do kind of like Drake May is because you can stack May with Hunter Henry, which saves you a little bit of money right there because it's only 3,900. Hunter Henry actually has a pretty good matchup versus this Raiders defense. And instead of going wide receiver, I almost want to plug in this rookie, Trevion Henderson, because of his pass catching abilities. So it's a nice little somewhat cheap stack when you go Henderson, Henry, and Drake. And then you can run it back several different ways. You could run through the run back with Myers, who's only 5,100. Ashton Gently's he's 7K, so that's a little high for a new guy on the block here. And then you got Brock Bowers at 6,500. So the run backs are pretty cheap. So I'd like that. I don't think I'm going to mess with too much of these New England wide receivers. I'll have them in my player pool. I just don't know who the guy is going to be in New England. It's the only thing that scares me.
Yeah, if you remember during these previous iterations of the Josh McDaniels system in New England, it's always very tough to zero in on who the one guy was going to be. We did see last year Hunter Henry, Drake May. They have good chemistry. They got a good connection. This is the kind of game that you like to target a tight end to. Tight game, low total. If you can get a game under 5-6 points, the home favorites doesn't matter for tight ends. Tight games usually help them historically. So I think Hunter Henry, yeah, he's in a good spot. And like you said, I'm not too enamored with the any of the other Patriots pass catchers. I as a fan, I have a good outlook for them this year, but I got to see it week 1 or 2 first. So, all right. Well, what's our next game, Steve? We got. We'll go to the. Oh yeah, you didn't want to play any of the defenses, right there.
I don't really. I typically just keep the home defenses into my player pool as long as they're at home and favorite. I'll sprinkle in a couple road defenses from time to time, depending on who that is. But it's just the Patriots defense I'm keeping in my player pool on that one.
This will probably be a short conversation. Steelers at Jets, 38-point total. Steelers are favored by 3. What do you like here?
What do I like here?
Right.
All right. So there's a couple things I actually do like here. And it has nothing to do with really any of the players, Chris.
Okay.
And it's not it has nothing to do with any of the defenses either. I have I'm probably going to keep none of these players in my player pool as of right now. What I do like about this game is a lot of people are going to get fancy and they're going to be like, oh, Justin Fields. You know what I mean? And they're like, and I don't think he's going to get you there tomorrow to win one of these big GPPs, because in order to win a big GPP, you got to stack and double stack. You got to do run backs. And I just don't see it here. The pricing is too high on a lot of these guys, I think, like for what they do. And the defense is pretty stout on both sides. I think this should just be a grind.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we have we've seen Fields do it before. But I just, there's so much dysfunction on that Jets organization. I don't trust Justin Fields this week. I have heard some of the touts kind of trying to steam him up a little bit. I mean, steam him up's a bad word. He's still 1.5% owned, but there are a few touts talking about playing him this week. So he's not in my player pool. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think I have. I mean, so you just crossed out Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, I crossed them all out. Chris, if I lose money tomorrow on GPPs because I didn't stack the Jets or the Steelers, I can sleep fine.
Well, I don't know that you need to stack them. Let me be clear. I'm not advocating a stack here. But what I am saying is, I don't want to play Fields. I really don't even want to play any Steelers. Garrett Wilson as a standalone, as a one-off. We saw what DJ Moore was for Fields out there in Chicago. Justin Fields is a guy that he's just one read and then he's taken off with the ball or he's getting sacked. So Garrett Wilson is going to be that one read. I think he's going to get all the freaking targets he can possibly handle from Justin Fields. Let me not say all the targets he can handle. All of the targets from Fields will probably be looking Garrett Wilson's way. So he's one guy that I kind of like as a standalone. He doesn't have a great projection, I guess, and this isn't the kind of game you want to target a wide receiver. I mean, it's a 38-point total. team total under 17.5. Yeah,
They are the second lowest team total on the slate, and it's by 0.5.
Yeah. No, I get it. I think I probably won't go that route either. Maybe I'll have Garrett Wilson. And I don't think I'll
they're
use
just better
either of these
spots.
defenses.
I think there's just better spots we can be targeting.
Yeah, he is pricing. He's in that $6,300 range. That's kind of a weird spot for a guy that doesn't project very well. But last year, I just show you something real quick. If you can see the screen,
Yeah.
9 targets per game last year, and that was with Devontae Adams there. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
who was getting a lot of Rodgers love. So I don't know. I just think the coaches are going to try to get Garrett Wilson the ball. He might be in my player pool, but everything else you said, I kind of agree with. All right, so let's take a look. This next one here, we've got. I think this is the one everybody's going to get excited about. This is the one I'm excited about. We've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Atlanta to take on the Dirty Birds. 24, 23, 24 implied total for the Bucks, 23 implied total for the Falcons, 47-point game total. That feels a little low, and I think this game has shootout potential all over it. Plenty of fantasy goodness here. I'll let you get us started.
Just to be clear, whenever I'm kind of doing my analysis, it's mainly for GPP builds. I play cash, but I only play cash like the first 6 or 8 weeks of the NFL season, and then after that, I kind of bow out. So a lot of my takes are towards GPP. This is a great game. This is a great game for shootout potential, I believe. Also, I like both quarterbacks in this one. I like everything in this one. The only thing is, if you're going to stack this game like I am, you're going to have to get a little weird with not weird, but you're going to have to do some things. You're going to have to I like for GPPs to try to get more Mike Evans in my stacks than what's his name? Egbuka,
yeah.
Because we're looking at 18 to 20% ownership on Egbuka. He's a great spot tomorrow, I think. But I'm not going to win a GPP with Egbuka being my main stacking partner with Baker. I think if you get a lot more Mike Evans in those GPPs, that's your ticket right there.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Egbuka is in a great spot. He's probably going to be in my cash game lineups. But if I'm stacking this game, I'm with you. Baker Mayfield, the index loves Mayfield this week. He's on the road, but favored. Big total, fast-paced game. The only thing that sort of has me a little apprehensive about loading up on this game is I just don't know. With the exit of Liam Cohen, I'm not sure how this offense will look this year. Supposedly it's the same system, so should look the same. But we've seen things like that happen. But we can't sort of speculate on that. We just have to go with what we know from last year, I think. And this is a good spot for Mayfield. I think you can load up. I would. My first look would be Mike Evans. I mean, we know what he's going to do. 100 yards, touchdown. That's sort of the floor for this guy in this offense. And what's his ownership? Let me. Can't really see my screen here.
Oh, I got it. I got it here. It's he's got 14% ownership. Egbuka is projecting about 18% ownership. So
Mike is kind of getting up there.
He's getting up there, but I'm going to tell you what, when those cards get flipped over tomorrow, you're going to see Egbuka north of 20.
I guess
because he's so cheap.
One way I think you can definitely attack this game is you can stack the other side. You can go
Absolutely.
Michael Penix +2, probably Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Michael Penix. That's a hell of a stack there. Run it back with maybe Bucky Irving, and you're going to need salary relief there, so you'd have to go Egbuka. But that's kind of you could throw Egbuka in there if you're going Penix, Bijan, and Drake London. I mean, Drake London's going to be popular too. I don't know. That's kind of how I would do it. I'd look at the. I'd probably load up some on the other side of the football here. Penix doesn't have really a rushing floor, but man, apparently the Buccaneers defense is, supposed to be imposing, but I think you can throw against them. And yeah, I don't know. And then of course being inside in the dome, I just feel like this thing's going to shoot out. So I like stacking up the Atlanta side.
I like stacking up both sides of these. The ownership isn't projected to be too high on either one of these quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you have to get too weird. I mean, when you do a Michael Penix, you could just straight go Drake London and Darnell Mooney. He's going to be playing tomorrow. People heard nothing but injury stuff all preseason, but everything I see, he's going to play. And then do the run back with a Mike Evans. Just keep it simple. I mean, those guys don't cost. I mean, you got Mooney $5K, Drake $6,500, Mike Evans $66, and you're only spending $56 on the quarterback. I mean, I like this game a lot, especially when I see these quarterback low ownership here.
What about playing Bijan one-off as a running back? Or how do you view him as a running back? Because I'm sure he's in your player pool, obviously, but how do you feel about him?
I love Bijan. I love Bijan in like maybe 10% of my Baker. I mean, in my 10% of my Baker stacks as the run back. I like him 10%, for Penix to be with, for my stack. But what I like Bijan the most for is to have him in my lineups of other games I'm stacking. Yeah. Because if this game doesn't go off, then there's a very good possibility that Bijan and Bucky are just grinding it out there, just collecting yardage and pounding the rock. So that's where I love Bijan the most. Not so much for the stacking in this game, but I like using him as my pieces for my other games that I'm going to stack.
Yeah, I agree. I think and there's going to be right now he's sub 10% ownership. Well, from what I'm looking at on the sheet here. Now, that could change depending on what happens with, I think, Christian McCaffrey. If something happens there and he's not able to go, I think a lot of his ownership will probably funnel toward Bijan and Achane. But if he stays under 10%, man, I feel like he's a guy I'm excited to play. If he stays under 10%, he's a guy I'm excited to play. And I just want to look here real quick. Last year, look at that, 17.8 rushes per game, and then 3.5 receptions per game. I mean, he's touching the ball almost 22, 23 times a game, 14 touchdowns, 15 total touchdowns. This is a guy that even in a shootout has real good PPR potential. So I don't know. He's probably my favorite running back this weekend. I mean, there's some things that are holding me up. Vita Vea is cleared to play, it looks like. So the Buccaneers defense they're stout, but I think Bijan can get there either way. So I agree with you. I like using them outside of the Buccaneer Falcon game stacks too.
And as long I'm not going to be plugging Bijan into no cash lineup of mine, but I think he's in a perfect spot with his ownership to be a good tournament play.
Yeah, I agree. All right, cool. So look at this next game tile here. Where are we going? We got oh yeah. This one you'll be paying attention to. Dolphins going to is it still called the RCA Dome, or is that way, way old?
That's way. It's not the oldest, but it's pretty. It's Lucas Oil Field.
That's right, Lucas Oil Field. God damn. All right. Yeah, Dolphins going to play the Colts. This is one I have a lot of interest in, but I'll let you get us started, Steve. Who you like?
This game's got me going both ways a little bit, Chris, because it looks on paper. It looks on paper like this could turn into a shootout really quickly. But I don't trust this Colts team, and I don't really trust this Miami team, not yet. I mean, Tula's one hit away from throwing up gang signs on the ground. Danny Dimes is just all over the place. But I like some pieces in this game. And when I mean pieces, I like Achane. Everybody for the last 20 years has just ran on the Colts. I actually like Jonathan Taylor a little bit for tomorrow. Wide receiver wise, I'll sprinkle in some downs because of his big play ability. Not too sure about Waddle or Hill. I have him in the player pool now, but I'm not trying to force anything with him. And then tight end wise, I'll probably keep Warren in there, but the quarterbacks I'm going to be off of tomorrow. And Danny Dimes' ownership is slowly starting to creep up higher and higher.
Yeah, I wrote up Daniel Jones in my article this morning, or last night, published it this morning. But I said I felt like a sneaky play, but as I was writing it, I could watch the ownership move it up. I think if he gets over 10%, I just don't know if I want to play Daniel Jones at that level of ownership on the field. I do love what you said though about Jonathan Taylor. Our fantasy impact index loves him this week. I was worried about the quality of my index when I saw that, but I'm seeing other touts really steaming up Taylor too. So his ownership's creeping up there too. But I can, as long as it stays below 20%, I'm happy to play him. I think he's in a great spot. The Dolphins defense is not good.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and I think that they're going to lean on Jonathan Taylor to get this game.
I mean, Indy's not going to want a shootout here, so they're going to. I see them grinding it out with Taylor most of the game.
Yeah, and this is a spot where we like to target running backs. Home favorites, I guess technically they're a favorite. Is this game's? Yeah, they're 1-point favorites now. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a pick 'em a few hours ago. So okay. So home favorites, narrow favorites, but yeah, I mean this is exactly where we want to target a running back. I just want to take a look at last year's numbers. I'll keep saying this for our listeners so they know this is what we're looking for when we're targeting these guys. But we'd love to see 18 to 24 touches for our running backs. You look at Jonathan Taylor right here, 21.64 rush attempts per game last year, over 100 yards rushing per game last year, 11 touchdowns. All this very quietly because the Colts were not very good. So, and really, to me, he's a guy I was overlooking until about a week ago. So I love Jonathan Taylor. He'll probably be one of my core pieces this week. I do like Daniel Jones, though, and I love the stack pieces, man. I mean, you can grab Michael Pittman and Danny Jones and Warren. I mean, you're not spending any salary to get those three guys. And then you run it back with Achane and the ghost of Tyreek Hill. He might be washed. I don't know what's going on there, but
I've been seeing that he's getting dragged through on this divorce thing. Like he's about to lose a shit ton of money. I probably won't be playing good either.
I wouldn't be. I mean, that has an effect on you, man. His soul's getting sucked right out of him, dude.
And he's only been married for like 2 years, I think. Poor guy.
But, God almighty, dude.
Yeah. The numbers, but back to the game, back to Jonathan Taylor real quick. I know if you look at his stats from last year, they're kind of comparable to what Saquon does. Saquon had more catches, and more touchdowns, but the usage rate was there. The knock on Jonathan Taylor is he doesn't stay healthy, but I'm not drafting him for a season long. I'm drafting him for tomorrow and maybe tomorrow only.
He carried 58% of his team's red zone carries were in Jonathan Taylor's hands. This is and then, like I said, the defense last year, the Dolphins allowed 20.5 fantasy points per game to the running back position. So this sets up really good for Jonathan Taylor. His ownership's climbing a little bit, but it's still at a level where I'm happy to play him.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see. So, where are we going next? We've got, God Almighty, there's some trash games this first week. There's some great football, and then there's these. We got the Cardinals going to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Cardinals, big favorites, look like 6.5 points. That's actually a pretty good team total for the Cardinals. I was sleeping on that a little bit. I might have some interest. On the road, the Saints defense is awful. And we were talking off camera about Alvin Kamara for the first time in many, many years. A healthy Alvin Kamara might not make my player pool. So what do you think, man?
I'm kind of with you. This game worries me a little bit. You're seeing this high team total for Arizona, and the Saints, I'm guessing, are going to be trying to play for last place to get that first pick in the draft next year. So
just decided week 1 to do that, huh?
Yeah. So I'm with you with the Kamara. Like I'm borderline. He's like on the edge to be my player pool. What sucks is his price is so low. On the other side of this game is you got James Conner, and everything tells me to play James Conner. The matchup is great. The price is great. The usage is great. The only thing that scares me is James Conner is pushing 20% ownership almost. And I've played DFS for a long time. And when Conner starts reaching 20% ownership, I almost want to back off of him. I like Conner when he's more like 10, 12% ownership.
Yeah. Connor's got a lot of things going for him this weekend. The impact index loves him. Big favorite on the road. We don't mind road favorite running backs. We don't love home underdog running backs. That's what Alvin Kamara is. So I think that I'm with you. I know that ownership's creeping up a little bit, but let me just scroll over here for a second. First of all, 6.5 point favorites. We love that. There doesn't seem to be much competition for touches for him. I know everyone keeps trying to make Trey Benson a thing, but I haven't seen it yet. The only problem, like you said here, is his usage is maybe a little bit under where we want it to be. Oh, God almighty, I jumped off the page here. What I say, 14, 15 carries a game for Connor?
I believe that's what you said.
At him. Yeah. So 15, 2 catches a game. He's kind of just on the fringe of being kind of like a lock for me at running back. I don't know. This is a good spot, man. That he could get there in the first half against this terrible Saints team, to be honest with you. But I'm with you. That ownership's getting a little up there.
And if 2 catches a game on average, I know this is splitting hairs, but we're usually targeting guys with 3.5 catches per game. And if this is going to be a blowout, then how much pass work is Connor going to get? You know what I mean? I think he's fine for cash. I'm just not going to probably play him too much in GPPs.
I think he's fine for cash. Yeah, definitely fine for cash. He's one of my primary targets in cash game formats. Also, I think he's viable on FanDuel more than he is on PK.
I agree.
If we'll look, his FanDuel price is a little up there, but he's still cheaper than guys like Bucky Irving and Josh Jacobs. He's right there with Kyren Williams. He's right there with he's more expensive than Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is too high on FanDuel, by the way. 7,100. I mean, I don't even know if he's. I don't know. We have to wait and see with Alvin. But yeah, he's priced right around guys like Bucky, Josh Jacobs, Kyren Williams. So on FanDuel, he has a lot more value, I think. The other thing that can sort of pull you away from James Conner is he's got a mobile quarterback who will definitely vulture him in the red zone for those touchdowns. So, and he doesn't catch passes. So it's hard. Yeah. the more his ownership creeps up, the more and more I'm probably off of him on DK. He's still viable on FanDuel, I think, though.
And
Yeah.
and then on the wide receivers, I'm not really going to mess with any of these Saints wide receivers. Too many question marks at this quarterback position. I'll have Marvin Harrison Jr. in the player pool, and I'll have Trey McBride in the player pool. I'm not going to force neither one of them. If I get some Trey, that's awesome because he's only looking about 9% ownership, but his price is a little high for what we like at tight end in a GPP.
Yeah, I think staying with Trey McBride there, I think I mean 6,200. You can't win a GPP with that price tight end. It doesn't happen very often. I mean, it's a less than 1% outcome. So we're going to be looking at guys further down this list. For cash games, maybe, yeah. Although it seems like everybody's probably going to gravitate toward Njoku in cash. So, but he's viable cash. I'm just not going to play him probably in GPPs. And I think I'll leave Marvin Harrison Jr. in my player pool, maybe. He's got, what's that say, 10% ownership? Where'd that come from? I don't understand that. Why? Why is he so high owned?
5,500. He's, his price is. I'll give this to Marvin Harrison Jr. His price is a lot better than what it was last year. I mean, last year they had him way overpriced. He underperformed, so his price point isn't that bad at 5,500. What do we need to get out of him in GPP? We're going to need to get about 20 points out of him.
Yeah. Can we get it? I mean, yeah.
Now, if he gets it, then James Conner's not getting it at all.
No,
so that's That's a good little thing. If you're not going to play Conner, play a little bit of Marvin Harrison to flush out some of that Conner ownership.
Yeah, that's a good leverage play for sure. Yeah, if you're not going to play Conner, if he gets up around 20%, we decide to bail. Well, why not take some shots on Marvin Harrison? Okay, that makes sense. I can get behind that.
And sometimes talking these games out will get me to think about what we need to be actually doing.
Yeah.
When it comes to strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Sometimes talking these games out. Yeah, I already had a plan before I got on the show with you here, so now I'm having to rethink a lot of things. So next we've got the Giants heading to the Commanders. This one here, man, I've got a different read on this to most people. Commanders big, I wouldn't say big favorites, 6-point favorites. Still kind of a low-ish total, 45.5 points, although on this slate that's not terrible. And I think most people are gonna play Jaden Daniels or a lot of people are gonna play Jaden Daniels. What do you think, Steve?
I like JD for cash games. I think it's a nice safe floor. I'm not gonna use this game too much in GPP. And what I mean by that, like I'm not going to use either one of the quarterbacks. Wide receiver wise, you got to keep the 3 top dogs in there because, when I say that, it's Malik Neighbors, Terry McLaurin, Debo. But Debo's price isn't too bad. I actually really like Debo for tomorrow because Debo, they blew up their entire running backfield by trading away Brian Robinson. You got Austin Eckler coming in there, which I think is a good little sneaky play tomorrow. I wouldn't want to go too over the weight on him. But Debo, if you remember, Debo does a lot of running, like little gadgety plays. And he's only 5,200. I think he's a good little player to have in your player pool.
I agree. I could see this game. I think a lot of people want to load up on Jaden Daniels. Probably, what's McLaurin's ownership look like?
6.5.
I got him right here. Okay, so really, the only place anybody's going with this game, it seems like, is Jaden Daniels. I see it. I understand, and he could definitely have a 28 to 32 point game tomorrow. But What I will say is the Giants, I forget the guy they drafted in the first round, but pass rusher. They got Thibodeau there. They've got a heck of a pass rush right now. I think the Giants defense is going to be fun to watch this year. I think they could get to Jaden Daniels. They could put some pressure on him. I think plays like Zach Ertz, these little quick dump offs, Zach Ertz, Debo Samuel, like you said. And I didn't even think about them using Debo in the running game. I mean, that used to be the most frustrating part for me about playing Christian McCaffrey was is Debo going to get 40, 50 yards rushing? So he can be used as a running back as well on those little like jet sweeps. I think, yeah, Debo, Zach Ertz, Austin Eckler, they're almost no one's playing them. And you don't have to put them in too many lineups to get solid leverage on the field. I mean, you play Austin Eckler in 10 lineups, you play Debo in 10, 15 lineups, Ertz 10, 15 lineups. You've got solid leverage on the field there. I think that's a good way to attack this. Okay, I see you agree with me, Steve.
Oh, my bad. I was moving the screen, but yeah, I'm with you on that.
All right, cool. I do want to add. I think I like the Commanders' defense as well. They'll be in my player pool. I just said all that good stuff about the Giants' defense, but I do like the Commanders' defense. Is Russell Wilson a thing? Do we have to think about that?
I think you have to be careful with that Giant. I know you said you weren't going to use them, and I'm not going to use them, but you're going to want to be careful with that Giants defense. They're very cheap, and they actually fit in really well when you start mass building. I had to remove them from the player pool because that's how easy they were just plugging into everywhere.
Yeah, I think they'll be good. I don't know that I want to use them against Jaden Daniels. I just think they could give him some trouble. So
absolutely, and I agree with you. And we don't use a road defense who's an underdog, but that road defense, like you said, could mess up Daniels from because we got to get 30 almost from Daniels, and the Giants defense could prevent him from getting 30. They're still going to win this game, But
yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, because think about it. I mean, Jaden, he's got to run for. Even if he runs for like 60, 70, if he doesn't get it in the end zone and he only throws for like 200 yards, I mean, he's not getting the 30 points. And if he falls short of 30 points and you have somebody like who have we talked about so far that was cheap, you get like Daniel Jones, okay? And Daniel Jones puts up a 22 spot, and at his price, you're way ahead of the field because 20% of the field played Jaden Daniels. So there's a lot of reasons to fade Jaden Daniels in GPP.
I agree.
All right, so let's just move on to the next game. We've got the Panthers at Jaguars. Jaguars are 3.5-point favorites over the Panthers. A lot of stuff here. I think there was a lot of hype for Trevor Lawrence in this offense. And I get it, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., Trevor Lawrence. But I think the first thing I would say is we need to pump the brakes on all this Trevor Lawrence talk, man, because he has been terrible from a fantasy perspective. I'm not saying he's a bad real life quarterback, although I am also saying that. But I don't know. What are you thinking here?
Starting with the quarterbacks. I like Trevor Lawrence tomorrow, but as I'm seeing this ownership just creeping up, I've removed him out of my player pool for GPP just because of the ownership. When we're looking at running backs, I'll play a little Chuba. I really do like Travis Etienne tomorrow. Look at that ownership on Etienne. There is nobody going to start him tomorrow. And I'm not saying you need to start 20% ETN, but you get about 8 to 10% of ETN at less than 1% ownership, 5,400. I love that. I'm going to keep all the wide receivers, the Brian Thomas Jr., the McMillan, and Travis Hunter. I want to keep them in the player pool, and probably a little bit of Strange also because he's cheap. he fills a lot of little spots, but I'm probably gonna fade this as a full-on game stack just because of ownership. Beginning of the week, I loved Trevor Lawrence. He was one of the top guys. And then once I heard everybody start steaming him up, I was like, it's going to be hard to win a GPP when 15% of the room is starting Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I was one of those steaming him up, and now his ownership's gone through the roof. If you read the article I wrote, he was in there, but I did say if the ownership gets too high, we got to jump off because the index loves him this week.
He checks all the boxes. He checks all the boxes
does,
too, Chris.
yeah.
He's playing at home. Team total 25 plus. It's a somewhat tight spreads. Total of 46. It's just the ownership is the only. Yeah, the ownership is really the only reason I'm starting to back off of Trevor Lawrence.
That, and I don't think he's ever won a tournament for anybody, right? I mean, has he had like, we don't need 30 from him, but if we want T-Law to carry our team up to $1 million this week, we probably need 23, 24 points from him. I mean, that's I don't know. It doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility, especially with the offensive weapons he has. But I love Brian Thomas Jr. As a standalone piece. I also do like Travis Hunter, but I don't know. I will say I didn't really consider Travis Etienne. He is actually not scoring too poorly on our index. That's the spot I really kind of like, dude. Yeah. 0.7% on the ownership. Home favorite.
Mm-hmm.
He's checking a lot of boxes too. The only boxes he's not really checking, those attempts per game last year just are not very good. I mean, all right. So here's what we can get. Here's what we're looking at. We're looking at about 13 touches, maybe. Okay, but this is a good opportunity to talk about something too, though. And I didn't have this conversation with you. I think I had it with Chris Brighton during one of our best ball drafts, but the Liam Cohen coming to Jacksonville, we saw what he did with Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. I mean, that was a formidable rushing attack. He fixed the Buccaneers run game. Doug Peterson has broken the Jacksonville Jaguars run game. So now we can see what Liam Cohen can do with it. We might see a similar role for Travis Etienne that Bucky Irving had. I don't know. Maybe it's a possibility, but if we get 15 touches from ETN and he's less than 1% owned and the game kind of goes like it's projected to go, I mean, if he scores a touchdown, what was his salary?
5,400.
Yeah, I mean, 5,400.
And
I like it. I think that's a good call.
It's perfect leverage off of Trevor Lawrence also. If you got 15, 20% Trevor Lawrence inside these tournaments, I mean, how many times have you sat there on Sunday and you had the nuts built, you thought you had it all figured out, and you didn't? It was the running back for that team the whole time. I feel like this might be one of those situations. And here's another thing to look at real quick while you have your charts up, Chris. How many targets does he get a game?
ETN?
Yep.
Let's see. We'll look at targets. 2024, he got damn, I don't have targets on here. Oh yeah, I do. Hold on. Let's go over here. A different screen. I just gotta find him. Give me a second.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, it's all right. He's kind of buried down these lists here. ETN. There you are. Okay. Let's see. Targets per game. There is a ton of data here. All right. Targets a game. Column AR. Let's see. 3.5.
That's kind of the number we're looking for.
Yeah. Yep. So 3.5. He caught on average, he gets about three receptions a game also. So he's making good on those targets. Yeah, I agree. That's he's making good on those targets. He's got somewhere around 20 yards receiving floor there. His red zone usage, not through the roof, but again, we're projecting a better out. The reason Trevor Lawrence is projecting so high is we're expecting much better things from this offense. If the offense does, on the whole, perform better, then ETN's probably benefiting from that as well. So I think that we can, if we're confident that Trevor Lawrence is going to play better, then I think we can be confident that ETN is going to play a little better too in this system. So I like him. I mean, you don't have to sell me at sub 1% ownership. I can have 10 lineups with ETN in them, and we could be in good shape.
Yeah, and then one other thing to add to this. So ETN targets 3.47 average last year. Tank Bigsby 0.75. So Tank's not taking any of the target. Now he'll take the snaps and he'll take the touches a little bit, but they're about even on that. That's why I like ETN for tomorrow.
And
tournament only. By the way, do not start him in a cash bill.
Yeah. So would you say that ETN is maybe a guy if we're going to play on both FanDuel and DraftKings, would you say ETN is a guy that maybe we play on DraftKings and then don't mess with on FanDuel?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not really sure off the top of my head what his price is on FanDuel, but I'm going to guess it's not that good. It's not going to be
6,100. That's pretty. I mean, that's 6,100 is pretty cheap on FanDuel for the running back. So, and his ownership on FanDuel is almost identical to DraftKings. Yeah, I don't see him being as good of a play on FanDuel as DK. So, I like that.
He's really going to have on FanDuel. He has to get the touchdown. On DraftKings, he can get us there without a touchdown. We wouldn't want that, but he can still get us there on DraftKings without a touchdown because of the full PPR.
Yeah, and one more thing here. I just want to pull it up. The Carolina defense is not good, and they allowed they allowed 30 points per game to the running back last year. You heard that right. 30 points per game to the running back last year. So, ETN, even if he just rips one off, catches a little ball out of the backfield, runs 30, 40 yards, and then touches the ball 10 more times, he almost made tournament value for us. So, we're in good shape there. I like that. Less than 1% owned. Kind of feels like the Austin Eckler play a little bit. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So where are we going next? We've got okay. Yep. This is one that I'm excited to play, but maybe not for the reason everybody else is. We got the Bengals going to Cleveland to take on the Browns. The Bengals are implied for 26.5 points. This game's actually gotten a little tighter now because the Browns, I think that's 4.5 points. Spread got a little tighter, 47.5 total. I like this game a lot, man. I think this has got shootout potential all over it.
I think I like this game too. My only concern with this is there's a lot of pieces in here that are going to be cash viable players, I think. We got Burrow sitting at around 10% ownership. Flacco's kind of low ownership, but, we are talking about a guy who's about as old as I am. I mean, he won a Super Bowl about 20 years ago. On the running back side, I'm not going to really mess with any of these Browns guys. I know a lot of people are going to start talking about Ford. I'm not going to mess with him at all. I like Chase Brown. I'm not sure if he's checking too many of the boxes. And the ownership, wow, 27. that might be a complete fade for me in GPPs at 27% ownership. And then, I mean, we know the wide receivers. If you can get some Chase in there, some Higgins in there, and even maybe a little Jerry Jeudy, I would do it. But I'm not going to stack this game. I don't think I am.
So Jerome Ford, I'm not buying the narrative. I'm off of that. Chase Brown is, man, this is a tough one for me because I got, he did it. Like, I mean, he did it all last year. Wasn't a fluke. I mean, he's a good running back. They're on the road, but big total, solid favorites. The one thing I would say about Chase Brown is when we look at his touches per game, he's barely fallen below 18 a game. 18 is kind of like the threshold I like for our running backs to be at. And I like for them to be home also. So, and the other wart here is that the Browns aren't exactly pushovers against the run. So there are maybe too many paths for this to fail. For me to see 30% ownership. I mean, that's where it's getting. Cash game, absolutely. He's probably a lock for my lineups. But at 6,600, I mean, we need about 27, 28 points from him. So he's got to score twice probably, which he can do. But if he does that, then, none of the other pieces are probably getting off. I don't know how I feel about this. I think the way to attack this, if you want to get some leverage here, maybe play the Bengals defense is going to be terrible. I mean, you could probably play Flacco, Judy, and Joku. Then maybe you run it back with a Chase Brown, or you run it back with a Jamar Chase. I don't know, but just seems like I want to play Chase Brown, but it just seems like with that ownership, there's starting to be too many paths to failure.
I know what a lot of people listening are going to start saying, Chris. They're going to be like, how in the hell do you just spend 5 minutes on a player like ETN and then you just brush Chase Brown off? It's because of that ownership. It's because of that defense. Chase Brown will outscore ETN tomorrow. But will you get the value out of it at 6,600? I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm just, when I look at Chase Brown, I'm going, okay, is there somebody at 6,600 that I can get similar upside out of?
And a better matchup.
That in half the ownership? Boy, there is. Jonathan Taylor right here in a shootout against the Dolphins. He's getting 13.5% ownership, and we know he's the workhorse. He gets 21 touches, 23 touches a game. Chase Brown does not get that. Also, let's not forget, for the past few seasons, and this is narrative, I understand, but there may be something to this. Past few seasons, the Bengals come out of the gate cold, dude. I mean, they do not play well in the beginning of the season. So I'm not saying you make your decision based on that, but I'm just saying there's one more thing, one more kind of not red flag, but one more path to failure for Chase Brown. I fully expect Chase Brown to have 80, 90 yards and a touchdown probably. I think a 16 to 17 point game is well within his range, and I would almost guarantee it if I was a gambling man. But I don't think that's going to get us where we need to be in a tournament. And Jonathan Taylor sitting there, same price range, who I know can do it. So, that's why we would spend all that time talking down Chase Brown and not ETN.
And one other thing, I don't use this one that often, but his player prop projection is a lot lower than his actual fantasy projection for tomorrow.
So I'm like you. Sorry, I didn't mean to step over you.
I was going to say a lot of these player prop projections aren't like the magic answer to building your lineups, but they are based off of Vegas. And as everybody always says, they built those giant resorts out there in the middle of the desert for a reason. So I tend to lean towards Vegas a little bit on stuff like that.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let's see what we got for his prop. So I'm looking at his fantasy point prop, 17.3, and then his rushing prop. This is a projection. This isn't his actual prop, but his prop projection is just a tick under 70 yards, another 20 through the air. So he looks like he's kind of a lock for 90 to 100 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, but
with that ownership, I don't think that gets us there.
Yeah. So I agreed. I'm not saying don't play Chase Brown. I'm just saying, when guys start creeping up to 30% owned, you have to start asking yourself, is this good chalk? Is this, and I'm not even saying it's bad chalk, because I know he's going to put up a good score, but I don't think it might not be enough to win you a tournament. So that's all I'm saying. And I probably won't play him that much in GPPs. If I have 10% Chase Brown just to kind of cover my ass, I'll be okay with that.
I agree.
All right, cool. So let us go to the next game, shall we? Let me get them back up on screen here. There we go. And we are going to Denver, where the god-awful Titans are coming to Mile High to get their asses whipped, I'm sure. I actually kind of like some pieces of this game. I'll let you tell me why I'm crazy, though.
I don't think you're crazy. I would say this. There's some things on this game I really do like myself. And what I love the most about this game is the Denver defense. And that's because you have a rookie quarterback starting his first game in the NFL on the road in my pieces too. I'm not gonna use any Bo tomorrow, and obviously I'm not gonna use Cam Ward. Running back wise, I'll sprinkle in a little bit of J.K. Dobbins, because you're not gonna get much use. You're not gonna get this kind of low ownership out of J.K. Dobbins too much, I think, this year. Maybe sprinkling in a little R.J. Harvey. J.K. is gonna, I think, carry the ball the most the first couple weeks. Harvey will slowly start to take over. But Harvey's a good pass catching back, and so is J.K., but I don't think they're going to have to pass the ball a whole lot. And that's kind of the way I see this game.
Yeah, I think so. I was excited to maybe play Bo Nix. I think his price is probably a little too high to maybe not too high, but it's in that range where I'm not like super excited to try to play a low-owned Bo Nix. If he was 5,500, I'm a little more excited probably. But I do think
6,300, Chris. He's almost got to start hitting some bonuses, either passing bonuses or rushing bonuses, and I don't think he's going to have to do that tomorrow against Tennessee. It's not that he can't do that.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think that now the other side of this is, I think that the Denver defense, there's narrative here that they're better than they are. I don't really know that they are. With that said, it's not obvious to me the Denver defense is that imposing. Now, with that said, Tennessee's also awful. So they're defensively, offensively, there's nothing. This is a very poorly constructed and a professional football roster. So I think you're right. I just think they're not going to have to push to beat them. So what's the spread here? 8.5 points. Is that what I saw?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I mean, Bo checks a lot of boxes tomorrow, but I just don't think he has to. But I don't think he's not going to be in a shootout. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's not going to be a shootout. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, they'll be fine. They'll do fine. They'll win the football game. Bo will have 220 yards passing, maybe another 20 on the ground, and they'll have this game in hand by the third quarter. So there's not going to be much reason to. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't see much. Now, with that said, the Titans present as big underdogs. You got any love for Calvin Ridley?
I do like Calvin Ridley for this year. I think there's going to be some really good spots we can use Calvin Ridley in throughout the season. I don't think we need to go there tomorrow.
No. One thing we like what the research shows is you got a big underdog, under 18 points, team total, on the road. The wide receiver that usually leads to garbage time points, so that's kind of why he's going to stay in my player pool, just for that. But I probably not going out of my way to target him. So.
Sorry, I lost you there for a second. Michigan Terrace just broke one for 75 yards and a touchdown. That was nice. Got to grind out these college football days.
Yeah, heck yeah. Are you still sweating that one?
No. That the DraftKings one ended about an hour ago. I did pretty well on that. Now it's the FanDuel one. The FanDuel one's all day long. DraftKings is only from noon through the 4 o'clock games. But we're not here to talk college football.
All right. Let's see here. Up next, we've got 49ers and Seahawks. This is a weird total, weird team totals. This just feels like it's going to be a game that I don't know. I don't have a lot of love for it. I know a lot of people are going to want to play Christian McCaffrey, but we may not have to. Have you heard anything? I have not. I just see the Q tag still.
I don't know. There's a few things that worry me about this game. First, it is a divisional game, like right out the start. But when it comes to CMC, God, is this man like literally like one hit away from his career being over? He hasn't really played in like 2 years, Chris. How many games has he played? He everything through training camp, he was perfectly healthy, ready to go. And we kind of heard this same story last year and during training camp. Like he's good to go. And then week 1 starts, everybody drafted him in the first round of their season longs. And what'd you get? Like 2 starts out of him the whole year last year? I hope that he is not ruled out for this game because I plan on not playing him at all.
Yeah. Keep that ownership high on him.
Yes.
Yeah, I was, and I don't know how true this is, but I was listening to some stories around the interwebs that they were going out there during practice after a play was over. They were picking McCaffrey up with the little cart just so they could reduce the amount of steps on his feet. So that's how cautious they're treating him. So I don't know if this calf injury is actually really even that serious. But that's what it was last year. He got him in both feet, both legs, and the re-injury risk is very high for something like that. And I don't know, man. It just seems like if he doesn't play week 1, you might be seeing the end of Christian McCaffrey. If he doesn't play, do you think people will migrate toward Brian Robinson?
I think they will. I think that would be a mistake. Yeah, I think that would be a mistake. Let me look at a few things here. I think you'd be better off going with Isaiah. Is that how you say it? What's his name?
Garendo, yeah,
Garendo.
but
I mean, these are thin plays, Chris.
yeah.
I'm hoping McCaffrey's not ruled out, and everybody. I mean, that 30% ownership sticks on him, and I'm just. Hell, the 30% ownership alone, Chris, most years would tell us like, hey, it's a little high for a tournament, and he's 7,300. He's playing on the road. They're the favorite, but not by much, like a half a point divisional game. They're not, if this guy's having troubles in the walkthroughs and stuff like that, they're not going to give him 20 touches tomorrow.
Is that so on my sheet here, I've got them as 1.5 point favorites. Did it go down still?
No, it's still 1.5.
Oh, okay. I thought you said half a point. I was gonna say if Vegas has been moving the line. If they're moving it again, they might know something. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that even if a healthy McCaffrey at 30% ownership, we could consider the fade. I don't. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if he plays, I don't really even know what to do with it. I'm with you. It seems like let's just not play him at all. Because even if he plays, you have to assume, especially with the Q tag and a DNP on Friday before the game, that Brian Robinson is going to have to get some of these carries. I mean, like you said, CMC's not going to rush the ball 20 times. We might get 12, 13 from him. That probably feels like where they might go with it. And I don't know, 12, 13 carries. I don't think you can pay 7,300 for that.
Hey, people are going to be sitting there tomorrow. They're going to, Chris McCaffrey is going to carry the ball a few times, pick up 30, 40 yards. He's going to get close to the end zone. They're going to do a little dump off pass to him. He's going to score a touchdown, and he's going to be sitting there with 18 fantasy points. And you're going to be like, these guys were wrong. These guys were wrong. But I'm talking about tournaments, and at 7,300, 18, 20 fantasy points is not going to get it at 30% ownership. He's going to have to break 35, 40 tomorrow. And I do not see that happening. So if I don't see that happening, I'm not going to have him in my player pool.
Again, you can look at, and I know this isn't exactly point for point here, but Bijan, the highest price running back, is a guy that I think could get you the 30 to 35 points, and he's half the ownership.
He's like 20% less the ownership.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, we haven't talked about him yet. We're going to get there. But there's a guy also, I think that, and his ownership 6%. Tell me why Jahmyr Gibbs is 6.5% and Christian McCaffrey is 29. Like, I don't know. And it's almost the same exact situation. Jahmyr Gibbs has David Montgomery back there to worry about. I mean, Christian McCaffrey now has Brian Robinson to worry about, especially if he's nursing a calf. So I think that I'm off of McCaffrey completely. I'm with you. He's probably not in my player pool for tournaments.
Now,
I don't know that I want to play him cash either. Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm not going to touch him in cash either.
Yeah.
But I do like a little Kenneth Walker tomorrow, 6.5% ownership. This San Fran D, you got the box checkers there, but he's playing at home. What's his usage rate? And the San Fran D is not projected to be that good this year.
Yeah. Let's take a look at Kenny Walker. Find him on my screen. Got him. So, yep, home, obviously. Ownership's low, 6.5 on DK, 5.5 on FanDuel. They are so the only issue is here's what keeps me off of Kenny Walker. I absolutely do not like playing home underdog running backs. With that said, it's getting the spreads tightening, and if Christian McCaffrey is for some reason ruled out, that might swing things in favor for Seattle. So I like him. He's got a 21-point team total. Where are those points going to come from? I mean, do we think they're gonna throw for 3 touchdowns? Probably not. So we think Kenny might get one of those. Um, let's see. Last year he averaged 14 rushes per game, 4 receptions. So he's at that 18 touches that we like. And the San Fran defense is one of the worst against the running back position. They averaged 24.98 points per game allowed on DK last year to the running back position. So, uh, yeah, I mean, things are actually setting up kind of good for Kenneth Walker, and that is a low ownership number on him, 6.37%, 5,900. He's below 6K. It's kind of a good spot for him. This is kind of what we like to. The only thing keeping me from pushing all my chips in at this moment is home underdog. But man, it's so close to being a favorite that I'm almost willing to break a little rule here week 1 for him. You know?
Yeah, and it's one of my favorite narratives. Also, is that it is a 4:05 game. He has low ownership, so you get set up real good at 1:00. Nobody's owning Kenny Walker, and he's just grinding out 5 yards here, 10 yards there, 2 yards there. But every time he touches the ball, you just move up in those standings a little bit more. And then if he busts into that end zone, then you really jump up in those standings at 4:00.
I'm a big Kenneth Walker truther. I played him every chance I could get last year. The other thing you do every time he touches the ball at 4:00 is cross your fingers that he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're right.
you don't want a game plan for that either, but it happens. So that's always in the back of my mind with a guy like Kenny. But
the problem with his injuries is he's never injured for like a season. He's never injured for like 2 or 3 weeks. He's just injured for the rest of the game.
dude,
and then he comes back and starts the next week.
Sometimes he even comes back in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
When like there's in for a touch or two, and then it's just like, what, man? Come on. Yeah, I agree. That's the frustrating part. Very talented, all the talent in the world. I love Kenny Walker. And I think I love him in the 4:00 time slot, low ownership. Everything kind of sets up well for it to be a Kenny Walker kind of game. And I think the only reason the 49ers are favored at this point is because they have Christian McCaffrey. If for some reason he's limited or doesn't go, you could almost say that they should not be favored and sort of break a rule for the home underdog. Well, we don't like playing home underdogs, is what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm willing to bend a little bit there for sure.
We didn't talk.
Go ahead. I know where you're going.
One last play I do like in this game is a little George Kittle. It's not a sexy pick, but if you look at the top guys, the Laportas, the Trey McBrides, the Brock Bowers, I believe Kittle's the cheapest out of all of them, and he has a pretty decent little matchup here. And then if you got CMC out or if he's limited, those CMC catches are perfect for George Kittle to gobble up if CMC is being maybe on a pitch count or something tomorrow.
Yeah. Seattle is pretty pedestrian against the tight end position.
I think they're in the middle of the pack,
Yeah, that's pretty much. Kittle scoring well on the impact index. Last year he averages 6.3 targets per game. But a much higher catch rate than Brock Bowers or Trey McBride. I mean, he almost makes good on all of his targets. The issue with his targets being low compared to a Brock Bowers or a Trey McBride is what you just said. Having Christian McCaffrey soak up some of those targets. So yeah, if CMC is not playing, Kittle becomes a very good play at tight end. Really on the fringe of where I want to bend for tight end, but in
Yeah.
GPPs I could get there. 5,800 is a little high. I kind of like to we kind of like to find tight ends under 5,000, but man, like you said, in this situation, um, where else are they going to throw? Jawan Jennings is back, but it's going to take him a few weeks to ramp up. So really, the only other place they have to go other than Christian McCaffrey is Ricky Pearsall. Uh, Brian Robinson is not a pass catching back. He does not look comfortable doing that. And even if Christian McCaffrey is hurt and doesn't play, um, Brian Robinson ain't going to get a bulk of that work anyway. So, yeah, I agree, man. Kittle looks like a good play, especially if McCaffrey's limited. I like that. I thought you were going to go to the other side of the ball and look at Jackson Smith and Jigba.
I like him tomorrow. I got him
Yeah.
in my player pool. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna push him too hard.
His ownership's creeping up there. It's still below 10%, but it just seems like obviously you don't want to play in Jigba if you're playing Walker, but some of these points are going to have to come from somewhere, and he's going to get all the targets he can stand, I think. So he will be the guy there. So definitely someone in my player pool as well. Yeah. All right, cool. So let's look at the next game here. Oh. All right, so this is one that I was kind of breezing past, wasn't too hyped up about, but the more and more I look at it, Packers, Lions, Packers 24.75 implied team total. Lions just a tick under 23. Totals 47.5. I like this game, and I think it's going overlooked a little bit when you look at some of the pieces.
I'm just switching screens. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I kind of like this game myself. Also, it checks a lot of the boxes we like.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the boxes I love the most on this is Jordan Love, not great last year, but 2.5% ownership. It's at 6,100. Golf, we got him at 1.17% ownership.
That's wild.
I mean, it's not a great matchup for him, but I love playing golf when he's low owned, because what he does in these games sometimes is he just goes ham. And then next week his price goes up, his ownership goes up, and he just does all right. So I'd like to target a little bit of golf in game stacks, a little bit of Love. I don't think you have to get too crazy with him because of the low ownership. Running back side, I love Gibbs tomorrow. I love Jacobs. I'll play a little bit of David Montgomery because of his price, and you can get those vulture touchdowns, but I won't play them together in a lineup. The biggest question I have, on the Lions side, it's easy. I'll have St. Brown in there. I love Williams, and I love Laporta. It's this Packer side that I can't really figure out. Everybody's just going to say start Golden, but I mean, it's a rookie in his first game. Reed looks like he's going to be playing with an injury in his foot all season. I don't like that. And then, I mean, we got Tucker Kraft, and he's 4K. So I like a lot of things in here. I just don't know how I'm going to build the Green Bay side of it.
Yeah. I think that the matchup isn't as bad for Goff as you might think. And especially, I mean, Micah Parsons, I don't think is playing, right?
I'm not really sure. And I'm not going to weigh that too much.
He's been ruled out.
Okay. So we're good. Good.
I know there's a narrative that Goff, can't play outdoors on the road, but it's, I know it's Lambeau, but it's September. So it's 70 degrees out there. It's kind of like playing indoors anyway. Man, you sent me an email a couple of weeks ago, 300-yard passing games, and and Burrow led the way, but second on that list was Jared Goff, and he had 7 to Burrow's 8, I think, last year.
Yeah, he
And
was right there with him.
dude, when Goff, there's games where Goff goes out and just puts up 11 or 12 points on DraftKings. But when he's turning it on, dude, I mean, the guy, he lights it up, man. And he can definitely have tournament winning upside in this matchup. I think that I know he's traveling.
His price is a little bit high, so I would be careful there. But all of his targets, Chris, everybody on this team is top tier kind of guys. You got Laporta at $5K. I mean, that's a nice little price. You got St. Brown at 7,100. It's a little high, but you can put Williams in there for 5,500. Which, when Williams is healthy, I prefer to take him over Brown at that price point. And you can even put Gibbs with Goff. It's a 7,700 kind of guy. I wouldn't put Montgomery with him, but I've really Goff wasn't originally in my player pool, but I think earlier this morning is when I started leaning towards him, especially at that 1 point whatever ownership. I won't go crazy with him, but I'm going to get them fired up.
Gibbs is going to get 3 or 4 catches a game, as you know, according to last year, 30, 40 yards a game.
Look at that ownership of Gibbs too.
Dude, it's crazy. 6.5% on my screen.
Yeah. I fire him up all over the place. Put him in those Baker stacks or those Michael Penix stacks. Oh, he'd work great with those Michael Penix stacks.
Yeah, I think that this is crazy that he's getting so overlooked. I think in the price, to me, again, we talked about it a little bit with McCaffrey, but this is where and this is another reason I hope McCaffrey plays tomorrow, because if McCaffrey's out, all of a sudden this Jahmyr Gibbs ownership is going to go up to 15%. The Bijan Robinson ownership is going to go up to 15%. Brian Robinson, I'm not going to play him either way, but he'll soak up the rest of that ownership. Guys like Gibbs and Bijan won't nearly be as sneaky anymore. But Jahmyr, to me, is a much better play than McCaffrey right now. I know he's a road underdog, but that's okay. You know, we're road underdogs are okay. Home underdogs we like to stay away from, but a road underdog is just, especially a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs. Let's go, man. He catches passes out of the backfield. We're okay with that. So yeah, I love it, and I think you can use him with Goff. The other running back on the other side of this, and you didn't talk about him, so I will. Josh Jacobs. He is checking a lot of boxes for us this week, and the impact index really loves him. He's one of the highest scoring running backs on the index. I can explain it, and it makes a lot of sense. When I saw it, I was like, what? But it does make a ton of sense. Home favorite. The ownership's not sneaky here, 15%, but home favorite. The team total's good, 24, almost 25 points. You look at these rush attempts per game, almost 18 touches, just handoffs per game. Another 2.5 on the on pass game work. So he's touching the ball like 20 times a game, and there's no competition for touches. I mean, out of the backfield for him. You know what I mean? So he is a true workhorse. He's a lot like a Jonathan Taylor for this offense. Not super sexy PPR wise, but efficient and will get the job done, and not competing for touches with anybody. I really like Josh Jacobs today. I think you could definitely play a Goff, Gibbs, Amon-Ra stack, and then run it back with a Josh Jacobs. You don't even have to worry about the receivers for the Packers. Not that you can't play Golden. I will, but just my thoughts.
Josh Jacobs is like my Achilles heel. Like I can never get him right. When everything lines up and I start this guy, it usually just gets me. And then when I fade him and he's 15-20% owned, he goes ham, and everybody's like, God, you're an idiot for not starting him. I'll keep him in the player pool. He's just a guy I can never get excited about because he just always sticks it to me.
We got a comment. I'll go ahead and we'll take it now since we're almost done. And I don't want to forget about it. We got kind of far away from this game already. And he did put it up here 10 minutes ago. So if you could stack Tua, how would you stack him? I think I know how I would answer this, but I'm interested to hear you.
Ooh, I mean, that's a pretty good one here. You look at it for 1 second. If you want Tua to get there at 5,800, you're going to need to get about 22 to 25 fantasy points. Is that about right, Chris?
Yeah. You probably want to get 22 to 25. I'd say that's perfect. Yep. My instinct was just to say your math was wrong, but I don't know why.
I would probably stack him. You could go Hill and Waddle. I mean, that's the most obvious one, that you could do. I would probably go Waddle and Achane because that's going to get you a little bit different there, and that's going to get you. You're playing with a high ownership on Achane of 21%, but nobody's playing Achane with Tua and with Waddle. So if that combination goes off, you could move to the top of the leaderboard pretty quickly with it.
I agree with you. I think Achane is definitely my first stack piece with Tua, and I agree. I don't think many people would think to do it, but at this point, I think Devon Achane is basically WR1 for the Dolphins. I mean, he's going to catch 6-7 passes, and he's explosive. So he would be where I would start. Yeah, 100%. And then me, I would likely try to double stack Tua with Tyreek Hill too. Probably that's where I would go with it. So.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill is going to get you that big play. I think this would be a perfect place to do a run back with Jonathan Taylor because you got to get a game narrative going here. Indy's pounding the ball on the ground. Taylor's just grinding up yardage, picking up first downs, scoring touchdowns, and Miami's playing from behind. It's be a perfect storm right there to really go off. That's how I would stack it.
Agreed. All right, cool. Thanks for the question, OS. Whoever you are.
All right, let's hit this last game. I gotta build some lineups and get ready for a big day tomorrow.
Not a whole lot to love in this last game, man. Rams, Texans.
Or is there?
Well, go for it then.
I don't think this is like the slate breaking kind of game that we need to be looking at too much, but there are some pieces I really like in this game. I'm not going to mess with either one of these quarterbacks in any formats. The running backs, I'm not going to mess with any of them either because who knows who's going to carry this ball with the Texans. And then Williams, I don't really mess with Williams too much. His yards per carry is pretty low. I mean, he's going to grind you out and get you some points. The wide receivers, I'll have a little Puka in there. But one of my favorite plays on the whole slate is 11% owned Nico Collins. I think he's a great little one-off that you can have in a lot of your lineups. He can blow the top off a game real quick. Who's he competing with, Chris? He's competing with pure rookies, basically.
Yeah, nobody.
And Dalton Schultz. And there's no running backs to catch the ball. Woody Marks might be the guy to catch the ball later on in the season. So I like Nico. And on the Rams side, like I said, just Puka a little bit, maybe some. I mean, you can't go wrong with some Devontae Adams. And then I really love the Rams defense for tomorrow. At home, favorite. These are things that we like.
Yeah, I can't argue with any of that. I would say the only thing keeping me off of Nico is the lack of weapons around him, right? I mean, it's not
Target
going to
share.
keep him out of my player pool, but he's going to be peppered. But who else do you have to game plan for if you're the Rams defense? So how successful can he be with those targets? How good does he look, after that injury? There's some question marks there for me. He's in my player pool for sure. I don't think I'm as high on him as you are. The one thing I do agree with you with is there's zero competition among the wide receivers because we didn't hear anything about. I don't even Higgins and Noel. Those are the guys. I barely remember their names. They don't seem to have any hype around them. Yeah, I mean Nico is the guy there, so I think that those are guaranteed targets for him for sure. And I don't think. Hold on. We'll get to you. No, I'm talking to the person on YouTube. We'll answer that question about Lawrence or Mayfield in a second. Let us get through this game real quick. So, I got no interest in the Rams offense. Probably. I mean, they're like you said. I think Puka, Devontae Adams will be in my player pool. I don't know how much of them I'll use. Yeah, definitely no Matthew Stafford either. So Kyren Williams is somebody who's scoring pretty high on the index at running back. How do you feel about him?
I don't like him too much, but you're right. He's playing at home. He's favorite. I mean, does he have anybody that he's really competing with for touches?
Not really.
I'm just looking real quick.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. I mean, but the defensive matchup doesn't look the best for him. But I don't have him on my player pool, but I can't talk anybody out of not having him in their player pool. It's more of just a personal thing. At some point, I got to trim some of these guys.
It's personal, he said.
It's personal. Hey, okay. I won season long leagues with him 2 years ago. I mean, so yeah. I don't think he's the guy.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, he just scores a lot of damn touchdowns. What did he get last year? He had 14 rushing touchdowns, 3 reception touchdowns, so a touchdown a game, 19 and a half rushing attempts per game, another 2 receptions. So he's getting the work.
How many yards per touch?
Yards per touch. Let's see. That's on another sheet. Give me a second.
I think he has one of the lowest in the NFL.
Does he?
I think so.
Stop it. You're just besmirching Kyren's name. You're besmirching my man's good name. Let's see. Rush yards per carry. That's column A-O. So let me find Kyren real quick. I am going to prove you wrong here.
Oh, I'm sure I am wrong. It's probably all just bias that I hate.
Well, that ain't great. It's 4.2 per carry, so it's not among the leaders. It's not terrible either, but it's not. It doesn't scream super efficient. And he only toted the rock for about 82 yards per game, which is also not among the leaders. It's not bad, but yeah, I get it. I mean, I looked for reasons not to play Kyren a lot last year as well. So just feels like to me some of that was kind of narrative sometimes, but you're right. The matchup in this one here, let's see, what is it? It's not good. I mean, it's not bad. It's not good. Nah, I mean, they only allow 16.5 points per game to the running back. So the Texas D is pretty good. I just don't know that. I was kind of high on their offense coming into the season, but I think the Texans defense is going to be negatively affected by their lack of ability to move the football on offense. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, but otherwise, I think we agree. I hate that that's the last game of the day, though.
Yeah, you got your question though. You got your question there. We can hit that up, and
we got a few here. So Joanne wants to know, what quarterback would we play, Lawrence or Mayfield? You can only pick one tomorrow. Who you picking?
Hate to be like this, but what are we talking about? We talking about playing a season-long league? We talking about DFS? We talking about, because I'm going Baker if we're talking about DFS and GPP, but if we're talking about season-long or we're talking about in a cash game, I'd probably go Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. So your answer, if you're talking about cash game formats on DraftKings or FanDuel, you're leaning toward Trevor Lawrence. If we're talking about a tournament for draft DFS GPP, Joanne says. So, yeah.
Baker, 4% ownership. I love some Baker at 4%. He's on the road, but the way I look at it is that if you're playing Trevor Lawrence at 15% ownership, that's a lot of lineups I got to compete with if Trevor Lawrence is the nut quarterback tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
But if Baker is the nut quarterback at 5%, that's a lot less lineups I have to compete with in a big field GPP.
I agree. Plus, I think the game environment for Baker Mayfield is, to me, preferable over Trevor Lawrence. I like the run back pieces and the pass catchers you can stack Baker up with. So that's why I kind of lean that way too. All right. Same format, DFS GPP, running back, Achane or Taylor?
Ooh. That's a good one. God, they're priced about the same, Chris.
Yeah, they're almost identical, 69 to 68. Yeah.
I believe both of these defenses running defense is pretty much garbage year after year. Gosh, I'd only lean Taylor because of ownership in a GPP, but I can see Achane outscoring him overall on the day because of all the PPR catches and all that kind of stuff. It's going to be tough. Like, I will not be fading Achane at all, and I'll eat that 20% ownership tomorrow because of how many catches he gets. Ownership-wise, I'd go Taylor, but overall, I think I like Achane regardless of the ownership tomorrow.
I think if I'm forced to start only one of them tomorrow in a GPP, it would probably be the guy with the – I was going to say it'd be the guy with the lower ownership, but Achane is just a home run hitter too. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what I mean.
The upside
is
there.
A tough question.
Yeah, that is really tough. I don't understand why you're making us choose between them, Joanne.
Just start them both.
Yeah, let's start them both if we can. Let's do it. Yeah, I'm with you though, Steve. I lean toward Taylor because of the ownership if I have to start one or the other. But don't let that be an endorsement of Taylor over Achane. Just, it comes down to ownership probably if we have to choose between one of them.
And I'm willing to eat the ownership on Achane. A lot of these other running backs we talked about today, when we were talking about like CMC and stuff like that, I was not about to eat that ownership with Achane. I'll eat that ownership tomorrow. That's good chalk, I think.
Yeah, no, Achane's good chalk. The other thing, when it's a tie like this, one of the ways I sort of lean is I just go, okay, who's playing at home and who's the favorite, and that would be Taylor.
You're exactly right there too.
Yeah, so that's in a tiebreaker between those two. Good idea, play them both. She said, make it happen. Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much it, dude. Do you want to talk about your cash lineup, or we'll just save that for tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, I think we probably can guess what each other's cash lineups are at this point in life, can't we?
I don't want to tell you mine because I'm probably going to use it against you tomorrow. So
nah.
So,
me and Chris have a private group that we play with a bunch of friends on, and I don't care how much money I win or how much money I lose on a Sunday, as long as I beat Chris, everything's good.
There it is. There it is, my good friend.
But it's the exact same way on your end too.
Look, that brings me up. That makes me think about something. This is way off track, but the other day a memory popped up in my cell phone in my photos.
Easy there, easy.
It was of you and I.
Tread lightly.
Do you remember?
Very lightly.
It's me wearing that airbrushed iHeart Peyton Manning T-shirt.
God, that was a long time ago.
Dude, we looked like children back then, man. I don't know how old that picture was, and who made that shirt. Do you remember? Because it was definitely homemade.
Oh, we did. I went to one of those, those little kiosk places down on the boulevard, and had he made it, guys looking at me like I'm guy looking at me like I'm some crazy bastard.
Heck yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, God, you just made me think about that.
That'd be like 2006, maybe 2008-ish.
Peyton Manning was still good, so it was a very long time ago.
You mean the sheriff?
The sheriff. Yeah, I'm standing there looking all butthurt. You're standing there beside me looking all proud, dude. We were at Hanley's at the bar.
Yeah, we had everybody in our group thought it was hilarious. Everybody around us thought we were some weirdos.
Yep. Cool. Well, anyway, that'll do it for us, I think. I don't have any final thoughts, man. Just I do. Week 1, it's kind of wide open. Like we said before we started the show, the pricing is very soft. You can pretty much play anybody and build a good lineup and feel good about them. So just look for the edges where you can. Joanne, those are good questions. Those are the kind of questions you should be asking. Why should I play Jonathan Taylor over Devon Achane? So good stuff. And we hope to see everybody at the top of the leaderboards tomorrow. And I can't fucking wait. We got NFL football tomorrow. I love it, dude.
I'm with you.
A long time coming. All right, Steve, I'll talk to you later, buddy. We'll speak in the morning.
All right.
For Hardy, I'm Dr. DFS, and this has been the DFS Edge Report. Y'all, we'll see you next weekend. Have a good one.